Interference of waves. As I said just now, two or more waves are joined together and their amplitudes will be added by superimposing, and it produces the resultant wave. These are the two waves are having the two different amplitudes, E1 and E2, and since they are in the same direction, they are adding the resultant wave of these two waves. You can find that E1 plus E2. Since they are in the same direction, they are added, right? So if they are in opposite direction, they get subtract. Okay, this pattern is called consecutive interference. At the same time, this is the one wave of E1 amplitude and the other wave of E2 amplitude, which are in opposite direction. But there is a difference in the amplitude. Due to that, the resultant amplitude has reduced, that is E1 minus E2. This pattern is called destructive interference. What is happening actually in interference? By adding up two or more waves or by superimposing of two or more waves, it is redistributing its energy on the screen. If it is on a light, if it is in a water, it produces large amplitude. That you can see like this. There are the two different sources, which different coherent sources. As I said in previous classes, coherent and incoherent sources. Coherent source is a source which is having the same amplitude or nearest frequency or same frequency, which are togetherly joined, and by that it gets superimposed, leads to constructive interference as a bright fringe and destructive interference as a dark fringe or dark band, bright band also we can call the in other words. If it is circular, we call it fringes. If it is it's a lines or a rectangular shape, we call it as bands. This is basic interference idea. This interference of the waves, as I said, the phenomena of one wave interfering with another wave and resulting redistribution of energy in space around the two sources of disturbance is called as interference of the waves. Now you can see here, these are the equation orientally. E1 equal to A sin omega t is the first wave if I'll take sinusoidal wave, E2 B sin omega t plus pi. These two waves, whenever it is superimposed, they get added together. According to vectorially, if I'll add, then I can rewrite in terms of trigonometry identity as above given, and I can substitute that in a form of A sin theta and cos theta. Therefore, I have the total resultant wave equal to A sin omega t plus theta, where A is the amplitude of the total sum of the two waves. That is, we can write in terms of A equal to under root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos pi, according to the parallelogram law. And at the same time, the direction of the resultant wave according to parallelogram law, I can write tan theta equal to B sin by A plus B cos pi. B sin pi, B cos pi, if you see that with respect to that, the resultant wave, the B, which is made angle pi, and the amplitude of the wave is theta angle. So in the form of equation, we can obtain the resultant wave amplitude as well as direction such a way. Since we know that amplitude is directly proportional to the square of the intensity, depends on that I is directly proportional to, we can write A square plus B square plus 2AB cos pi. And from this, we can write constructive and destructive interference conditions. Sum of the two waves square gives us, two waves amplitude squares gives us a maximum intensity. At the same time, subtraction of the two waves amplitude square gives us a minimum intensity, that is we call destructive interference. So for them, there is a condition. For constructive interference, the path difference always must be n times of the wavelength. And whereas for the destructive interference, always the wavelength, sorry, the path difference is 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. If you follow these two differences, two conditions in the uh, interference, then we can obtain the constructive with the n lambda condition and destructive with the 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. We have compared also, if you are comparing to maximum and minimum intensity of interfering lights with respect to amplitudes, It also depends on the slit width. Okay, the slit width also more than intensity of light is more on the screen that you can find from this formula. I1 by I2 equal to W1 by W2. Right? Now, this interference of the waves is explained by the Mr. Thomas Young. When the Newton era is going on very much, that Newton was explained that light is a form of particle, not in a form of wave. But before this, there was a scientist, Huygens, 100 years ago of this experiment, he started explaining that, but theoretically trying to explain, nobody used to believe him. We, as a scientist, we need evidence. Until there is no proper evidence, nobody used to believe. So, therefore, during that time, what happened? Thomas Young has done an experiment by using the two or more waves, and he produced the interference. Therefore, it has proved that light also travels in a form of wave, not in only in the particle form. Then everyone started believing the Huygens. Whatever 100 years ago Huygens thesis had thrown into the dustbin, that has come up now with the evidence of Young's double slit experiment. Okay, that you can see here. This is a source, one source of light. Interference I can do by division of amplitude. By division of amplitude I can do, or you can see that by division of wavefronts. This is a source. I'm allowing to pass to the single slit, and I'm allowing pass to the same source of light through the two slits. Why I need? Because practically I will not have two coherent sources which are having the same frequency, same amplitude is not available. At least I should have nearest frequency and nearest wavelength. So that's why from the same source I'll divide the amplitude like this. Then you can see how the light has divided and forming on the screen as a bands, bright bands and dark bands you can see. That if I'm obtaining to the two slits, S1 and S2, and the distance from the, there are some consideration, remember, the slit width always very smaller, 0.01 mm like that, whereas distance between the screen and the slits is in terms of 1 meter or 100 centimeters. You can see here, there are the two waves, right, interfering, and at the same time, after interfering, it is forming some band on the at a point P. Since there is a path difference between them, if I'll draw a line here as I shown in previous class, this gives a path difference. This has started early but joining is late. It started late but joining fast. Means there is a difference, path difference between these two. And the light which goes straight away, which forms at the center O, that is a bright fringe or central maxima we call, or central fringe we call. The distance from the central fringe to P is taken as the position of the fringe. Now you can see that from the two slits, the straight lines which are falling on the screen. Okay, so that is nothing but it gives us the, at the central maxima, you are having that complete bright fringe. From the central fringe, if you see the next position, you will have the two dark fringes. As you are seeing on the screen, at the center is a bright in the sense either sides you are finding the dark. Okay, like alternatively bright and dark fringes we will have on the screen. Entire screen you will have the dark and bright fringes, and entire fringes is looks in uniform intensity width. Okay, though the dark and bright colored fringes forms, but you are finding the lighting or illumination from these fringes or bands are same. You can also see here the distance from the slits. One slit to another slit is a small d. It's very small distance. And from O to the next band is d by 2. I'm taking the distance. And down also d by 2. As I said, the distance between the screen and the slits is capital D, which is approximately 100 centimeters. Now, when two or more waves is interfered, the path difference between the two waves, we can write the path difference delta equal to S2P minus S1P. S2P minus S1P, you can see here, this is S1P distance, this is S2P distance. With respect to the fringe, okay, there are two ways. S2P minus A minus B. I can write A plus B into A minus B. A square minus B square also you can write. Okay. So S2P minus S1P, I'm writing in the square form. Why I'm writing in the square form? Look at here. Here I have a right angle triangle. S1P from there to here. This distance or up to O you take. Okay. Excuse me. So up to O when you are taking O to P, you can see this is the distance as taken as y, and this is a d by 2 distance, right? If I take S1P, this point, up to this point I wanted distance, in the sense I should write y minus d by 2. So this gives S1P distance. This S1P is a hypotenuse, this is a perpendicular side, this is a base. According to Pythagoras theorem, S1P square I am taking, and at the same time S2P 2 point O plus D by 2. Up to here I am taking. Okay, up to here y plus D by 2 is 0. So therefore I can write S1P square minus S2P square equal to, it gives me that base d square we have, and y plus d by 2 whole square, this minus base d square plus y minus d by 2 whole square. This is mathematically we can write from the Pythagoras theorem. Since I know S2P square minus S1P square is this, if I'll simplify this, how do I simplify it? Since minus d square cancel, y here minus y it become, and minus d by 2, how it changes. You can write here, this is a d square, okay, this is a minus. If you simplify, this is a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square. Okay, when you apply a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square formula, then that gives 2 into yd. 2 into yd for S2p square minus S1p square. This a square minus b square I am writing in terms of a minus b, a plus b. So I have written a minus b into a plus b. Now here you should remember one important thing. What is that? Since these are light rays, S1P distance, S2P distance very near to each other. Okay, approximately equal we can say. So if they are equal, let us say, if they are equal, now I can write S2P minus S1P. Okay, before going to equal, what I am doing here, this is S2P minus S1P. Okay, that is approximately gives that this is 1d distance, this is another d distance. Both are approximately equal in the sense d, this is also addable, this is also addable. Now that since they are approximately equal, which are equal to this horizontal distance, that gap distance, means S1P is approximately equal to d, S2P is also approximately d. So I can write that it as change, or the distance 2 times of the d is equal to 2 into yd. Here, its condition applicable, it is not written like that. That is approximately this gap distance, this S1P approximately equal to D, and S2P is also approximately equal to D if I'll consider, then I can write delta 2D. Okay, so therefore S1P equal to S2P equal to capital D, that means. Further, I can write this 2 to get cancelled. I can write as y into small d by capital D, I can write. This gives the path difference when two or more waves interfere. Here, with respect to two waves, we found the path difference, delta. Delta is a symbol here we have used for the path difference. Now, delta equal to, we got in previous case, y into small d by capital D, right? This is a path difference in the sense. Now, positions for bright fringes. As we know that before we studied for the conditions for bright fringe and dark fringe, I wanted at point P two waves are interfered, but I don't know whether they are constructive or destructive. Bright fringes or dark fringes. What I have to do for that is the most important thing. For that, what I am doing, see here. Let us say if I need to get the bright fringe at that point P, I have to follow the condition is that the path difference between the waves if I'll take n into lambda, okay, then which is equal to y into small d by capital D. Therefore, since n here n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, anything if I'll substitute depends on the number of waves. Let us say if I'll substitute 0, then I'll get the at the central position, central maxima. If I'll put 1, I'll get the lambda, the first bright fringe I'll get. Y equal to, I'm making y as a subject. Why it is so? Why I'm making y as a subject? Y is a position from the center to at a point. Are you getting my point? Y is a position of the fringe. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Y
sir.
is a position along the vertical axis from the central fringe to first fringe. If I could write n equal to 2 for the second bright fringe I'll get. If n equal to 3 for third bright fringe I'll get. So therefore, for different n values, I have the position of the fringe from central. Y not equal to 0. This is for the central fringe. Okay. And for the second bright fringe, nothing but apart from the central fringe, I am considering the second fringe as a first fringe. Right? That is Y1. Like this, alternatively, I'll get continuous fringes, bright fringes, depends on n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 as depends on integer number. If I consider for the dark fringes, what I have to do, use condition here as I previously discussed for destructive interference, n plus 1 lambda by 2, 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 for dark fringes. So 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 I have to use. So if you use this condition, what is the position first? Position of the fringes from the central to dark fringe wherever it forms, like down or up. Okay. Y equal to what we can write? 2n plus 1 capital D into lambda by 2 small d. We know that small d is the slit distance between the two slits, capital D is the distance between the slit and the screen. Okay. Now, as we are substituting the n value for the 0, you are getting n equal to 0, y not equal to. If you substitute n equal to 0, what happens? D into lambda by 2d. Remember, after the central fringe, whatever the fringe you are having in the dark fringes for n equal to 0, okay, you are not getting any 0. You are getting after the central maxima, whatever the next up and down it is there, that we consider as a dark fringe or dark band. Okay, but it is not like in a bright fringe. Only central one is here bright. Here also central one is bright only you are getting. If you are trying to get dark, no, you are not getting here dark, remember. Okay, so you can find the difference in the position of the fringe. Now next, for n equal to 1, n equal to 1 is second dark fringe that we are considering as a first dark fringe. Okay, that is 3d lambda by 2d. Next, n equal to 2, you are getting second position, but the dark fringe is third one. Like this, you are having, depends on the integer value, you will have different dark fringes. Expression for dark fringe width. Okay, what is the expression for fringe width? Till now we have studied about the position of the fringes. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Position, where it is
Yes, sir.
located, where it is located on the screen after we have done the practical. But for the dark fringe, width, how much wider it is, okay, that we are going to find. Remember, simple logic, I'll tell you. I wanted to find the dark fringe is how much wider, in the sense I should know the bright fringes of whatever there be before and after the dark fringe, right? So if I know that positions of the bright fringes, if I'll subtract that, I'll get the dark fringe width. Look at here. Here you are seeing the fringe width formula beta. Beta is symbol used for the fringe width. Now, I have taken here yn. Yn in the sense for nth position of the bright fringe minus n minus 1th position of the bright fringe. Okay.
Yes, sir.
N minus 1th position of the bright fringe. At the same time, you can also see here y nth position. Y nth position, what we can write? N into capital D lambda by small d minus. If I'll take n minus 1 of bright position only, I should not take the dark position here, because I need to get the dark fringe width. So difference between the two bright fringes gives the dark fringe for me, right? So that's why I
Yes.
have to use here n minus 1 into capital D into lambda by small d. So after differentiate, means after subtraction of these two, I have the position of fringe width is d into lambda by small d. Okay. Now let us come for the position for the bright fringe width expression. If I need expression for the bright fringe width, what I have to do? Have to find the difference between the two dark fringes again. Got my point? Look at here.
Yes, sir.
Same way I did that. Beta equal to y n dash I took. N dash, why did I take? That is indicating the dark fringe. Look at here. N dash for the dark fringe 2n plus 1 d lambda by 2d. Okay, that I have written here. Minus
Also,
n minus 1. Why I have written n minus 1? N minus 1, if I'll substitute in the place of this n, then I'll get n minus 1. 2 into n minus 1 plus 1 into d lambda by 2d. These two are belonging for the dark fringes position. N minus 1th position, nth position. Okay. So if I'll do subtraction of those two, I got the same answer as before, d lambda by small d. That means
also,
what I can understand, the fringe width remains same for the both cases. The fringe width remains same for the dark fringe as well as bright fringe in the same interference pattern when we are taking. Even remember, even for the central fringe also, you will have the same fringe width. Sir, how to find the fringe width? Okay, how to find the fringe width? That we need to see, we need to discuss here. First, distribution of intensity. We found the dark fringe position, bright fringe position, and their width also. How the intensity has distributed on the screen that we have to see now. In interference, as I said just now, all the bands looks with the same illumination, with the same intensity, but we will find one area is bright fringe, another area is dark fringe, like alternatively. But entire screen, if you see, you can able to identify all dark bright fringes, which is one fringe is very brighter than the other. It's not like that. Means the intensity distribution remains same on the fringes with the same amplitude. You can see like this. The distribution of intensity in interference pattern, that is through the double slit experiment, is remains same. See, everywhere amplitudes of the, see, this is bright in the sense, this is dark. This is bright in the sense, this is dark. Bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. Like that alternatively you will have. Okay. Suppose the two interfering waves have the same amplitude. If they are having the same amplitude, let us say, as I said just now, amplitudes are same of two waves, then intensity will be maximum, which is equal to 4 times of a square. Remember, this is most important point in the interference. If two waves
Yes, sir.
amplitudes are same, then maximum intensity produced by the interfering of two light waves is directly proportional to 4 times of the amplitude square. 4 times of the amplitude square. See, this is a way all the bright fringes have the same intensity you can find on the screen. The minimum is 0. For dark fringe, obviously it is 0, no? All the dark fringes have 0 intensity. Now, as I have told you, depends on the path difference is a condition. We obtain constructive interference and destructive interference, and distribution of intensity curve is most important for us to understand better. Okay. Now, condition for sustained interference, I should get the interference is like this, only sustained, continuously, constant interference. What are the conditions I supposed to use? We discussed already, like with respect to the coherent source, non-incoherent sources. Same way, we have some sustained interference conditions. Question can be asked in exam. What are the conditions for sustained interference? First, two sources producing interference must be coherent. This is we discussed. Two interfering waves must have the same plane of polarization. Same plane of polarization in the sense all the waves must be in the same plane, and it should focus in the same direction, not from the different waves comes and interference. It's not like that. Since they are same polarized, they are having the uniform intensity initially. Otherwise, the output will become differs. The next, two sources must be very close to each other. How the two sources must be close to each other? Practically, there will be some difference always. But the pattern which is observed by the large distance to have sufficient width of the fringe. Okay. So when, sir, I can observe the interference from longer distance also. Yes, you can observe, but when it is obtaining on the screen, it should form proper bands, proper fringes that you should notice. Now, the sources must be monochromatic. Otherwise, the fringes of different colors will overlap. Monochromatic means single wavelength light that we know. Otherwise, the fringes of different colors overlap. Remember, obviously, if you are using white light, let us say in interference, it is passing through the two slits, and again it gets interfered. After interference, it will be superimposed and forms on a screen the intensity curves or bands. Whatever the bands will form or obtain on the screen, that is in the form of colors it will come. if you are not using monochromatic light. If you use either one color, okay, one color, then you can obtain easily on the screen proper output. The other way around, what will happen, if you use white light, you'll find all different colored bands you'll obtain on the screen. Next, two waves must be having the same amplitude for better contrast between bright and dark fringes. So same amplitude comes because of the coherent source, which are nearest sources which we are using. Okay, so due to the same amplitude, what happens? This on the screen, whatever dark bright fringes forms, no, that will have same contrast between them. Otherwise, there will be much difference if there is a change in the amplitude. These are all important points to have a sustained interference on the output always. Okay. Now, till now we were discuss complete interference pattern. I don't know how many students are noting down the notes. Notes is mandatory always. If you are not
Yes, sir.
following notes,
Okay, sir.
it's a problem.
Sir, I'm
Okay,
taking the screenshots of these things right now.
good.
Same.
Now,
Sir, can you go back one, sir? Let me take a screenshot.
this interference I have taken till now through the two slits. For example, through the two slits interference is taking place. That's we know. That is redistributed. We know. But what I'm trying to say now, if I could be place in the middle any glass surface or any thin film, if I'll place, then that refractive index affect this interference. How, sir? You can see here. Colors in thin films. This is a one thin film. I said the other in previous class we have a discussion that a oil drop, if it is falling on the water surface on the
Yes,
road,
sir.
you'll find VGR colors on the surface of the oil drop. That is because
Yes,
of
sir.
the interference of the light. Same way here also. This is a one film I am taking. Their oil is a film. Here it is one film I am taking. Through this, I am allowing to pass the light refracting as well as partial reflection takes place. Usually, the light is reflecting at the two surfaces of its film, at the top surface and from the bottom surface. You can see here, due to the reflection at the from the light of top surface and bottom surface, there is a change in the path takes place. Due to change in the path, as before, whatever the way it is interfering, it will not interfere in the same way. It is interfering in different way, and since the path difference is changing, the wavelength of light also may differ. Yeah, since it is reflecting back and refracting. You can see here, angle of incidence, angle of refraction, and thickness of that film depends, and refractive index of the film also is affect this. So due to this, what happened? The path difference changes, that is delta equal to 2 mu t cos r. Why 2 mu t? 2 at the 2 times it's changing its path. Okay, and depends on its refractive index and thickness, mu into t cos r I can write. From this that I can write, since delta equal to 2 mu t cos r, 2 mu t cos r, here with respect to the fringes, if you see O to A and B to C, there are the two paths of light rays you are finding in the diagram. If these two waves are interferes constructively, what happens if they interfere constructively? Since they have changed its path, the path difference must be within them n plus 1 by 2 into lambda. Whereas normally we have n into lambda, but here we will have n plus 1 by 2 into lambda. Okay, so you can also see here 2 mu t cos r is equal to n plus 1 by 2 lambda. If you apply this condition for the interference, then in the thin films you can obtain. If it is dark fringe, opposite to the previous case, n into lambda we have to apply. For obtaining bright fringe to the film, n plus 1 by 2 lambda. If it is dark fringe, n into lambda. Whereas in interference, what we have used? N into lambda we were used, right? For bright fringe. For dark fringe, n plus 1 by 2 lambda we were used. Okay. But here it is different, opposite. So this is happen interference through the thin film or through the oil drops, okay, and even rainbow colors also forms due to the interference of the light because of changing its path, and their path difference, right? So
Yes, sir.
question will be arise through the thin films how the interference takes place, right? You should remember the path difference 2 mu t cos r, which is equal to the path difference in the case of film. This is all about the interference of light through the thin film and Young's double slit experiment. This is a complete scenario of interference of light and its intensity distribution, how it has, and we also studied the sustained interference conditions, right? So these all the most important topic for in interference. Now